the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies.
All right. Welcome to the Synchronistic Human. Our platform is called Synchronistic Talk, Sync Talk. And so I'm glad those of you that were able to join us are here today. We're going to talk about how to deal with the rescuer syndrome. And this is a great topic. A lot of what we're doing stems from the study of the 13 moon calendar and the law of time, or the Tzolk'in sacred spiritual calendar. And it's really powerful to observe the synchronicities in everything that we do and how this shows us the synchronic order of it. Now, ultimately, the synchronicities are working on our behold. They're like working to help us realize, remember something. So this is going to be a really good topic. And more importantly, we want to get you geared up here to be able to integrate this into your life. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get on into it. We'll start with the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary beings. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with the harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum, Hunaku, Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku, Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku, Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. All right, so let's talk about synchronicity. And we are really living in the new time. I make mention that the Gregorian calendar is in an obsolete status to those who want to evolve. And we get more deeper into this. through our classes, because either you're running on programs or you're running on the vibes of synchronicity, leading you on your journey of remembrance to fulfill your purpose, your galactic purpose on Earth. In fact, I would say there are two reasons why we even incarnate on the spiritual level. One, to clear up our galactic karma, and two, to fulfill our galactic purpose on Earth. And all we really have to do is ask. It seems far-fetched. I don't know what it is. Well, have you ever asked yourself, do you know the power of God is in us? And when you ask that unlimited power inside of you, it speaks to you through intuition. And this links us to synchronicity. So let's look at it. Synchronicity refers to the underlying cosmic intelligence that synchronizes people, places, and events into a meaningful and purposeful order. We experience synchronicity when an outer event corresponds to our inner thoughts, perceptions, or feelings. All right, the synchronistic human, defined as this is the synchronistic human school of enlightenment, is someone who is able to be multidimensional while unifying energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity, Mother Earth, and the galactic whole. Ashe. Whoever owns your time, so a lot of what we're dealing with is the misrepresentation and the ability to express. We're missing the ability to express time from a fourth dimensional perspective. So time isn't money. Time isn't a mechanical clock. We refer to as energy factor by time as art, which in other words means it's the evolution of consciousness. This is why who owns your time owns your mind. And if you change your concept of time and you will change your mind, and change your mind, and you will change your world. Right? And we'll show you how to do that, definitely. I want to make a couple of announcements. We have tomorrow night, New Kin Orientation, featuring none other than Moon Goddess Ambrosia. She'll be conducting that. It's going to be a phenomenal time. Not only does she enroll the New Kin into the galactic vision of the galactic purpose, she also does an oracle reading for the day, or we call day plasma. So it's going to be powerful. Every time she does it, everybody's blown away. So you definitely want to be able to attend that and take advantage. In fact, I want to go ahead and show a quick video just about what the New Kin orientation kind of entails, and I'll come right back up and jump back into how to deal with the rescuer syndrome. All right. Excellent. So join us for the New Kin orientation and the oracle reading. It's really good, and especially when you see your kin being broken down for the oracle is really powerful, and it can really enlighten you. And what we find is that people that really understand the reading when they start to understand, they really start to get downloads and they start to get deeper insights that really help them in their life. They can foresee and foretell things before they come. And that's the whole point in this. Okay. So we got that. And join us on this Sunday for the what we call the Solar Galactic Return. This is going to be the 52-year celebration for Neb Teharka. That's myself. And it's going to be Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you all are welcome to join. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot to celebrate over these 8 years. So we definitely would like for you to attend if you feel connected. And then we have the 260-day Quantum Leap meetup coming up. Now, this is about getting all the galactic kin. So let's just say you're new and you're just getting your kin number. You're just figuring all this out and seeing how it resonates. Well, once you get your kin number, we want you to register it on our site because we're going to do a galactic meditation online with all the kin. Okay. And when we put each kin together, it creates something, what we call the galactic brain. And it takes the galactic brain, we're going to do a meditation together, and it's going to cause us to access the cosmic mind, or I like to call it cosmic memory. And this is where we can reach different states of consciousness to help solve issues in our path, because scientists say we have over 100+ million years of memory just stored in the cerebellum, just stored in the brain. Imagine, if we were using half of that or a quarter of that. We probably, because of the usage of cell phones and artificial intelligence, I doubt if we're using 100 of that 100 million years. So just imagine, think about how you are now and only using 1/1,000,000th of your potential. And then you start to use 2 millions and then 100 million, and then 1,000 million. And so it can get very powerful in terms of our psychic ability and things of that nature. So that's kind of what we are promoting and tapping into there. All right, let's get into it. We follow the 13 moon, 28-day cycle. The moon has a mean average, the time it takes to revolve around the earth. And in a year, it does that. If you multiply 13 times 28, you're going to get 364 days. Okay. And then there's 1 day at a time. This is like the day of celebration and peace. And that's on July the 25th every year. So every year on July 26th, beginning in the Lion's Gate, or beginning when star Sirius is the brightest in the sky, is when this calendar starts. Okay. And so that's the when the first moon starts, the magnetic moon. And so this process is really powerful. So let's just go through it. We're in the overtone wizard year of timelessness and supreme receptivity. Many of us are very good givers and very poor receivers. We're in the crystal rabbit moon of cooperation. Okay. We're in the second heptad. Now, heptad is like a week, where humility refines meditation. And what I like about the moons, let me tell you what I like. Every moon has a question, right? And this helps us evolve. This helps us have more compassion. The question that this moon asks is, how do I dedicate myself to everything that lives? And so here's something: when you dedicate yourself to everything that lives dedicates itself to you and works on your behalf. All right. The plasma is Celio, which is in the 14th position. So instead of the days of the week, like Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, we have energetic names for the days to help us with our sensory and extrasensory abilities. So we call it a plasma. The plasma is Celio, which is in the 14th position out of 28, and is connected to the heart chakra. All right. So when the heart chakra and this energy, there's an energy center, 7 energy centers down the middle of the brain. When it connects with this energy center, Celio, it allows us to tap into the source of all creation through natural mind meditation. It allows us to tap into the Akashic records. Okay. So it's very powerful that we're able to do that and make it a practice each and every week, every heptad. All right. So we call this a synchronometer, and so we're doing away with calendars to track taxation and appointments, and that we're using the cycles like the Maya, the Galactic Maya, and the Olmecs did, when they basically were following these different calendrical systems, and it opened up their mind different to telepathic abilities, etc. So today we are on the 14th plasma, and we are also on this picture, the ego, where we're in the first day of what we call the ego evolutionary cycle. Okay, and this is called the magnetic ego. Let's read the affirmation for the ego. Every kin has an affirmation, so let's go ahead and read it. The affirmation for kin 235, the blue magnetic ego, reads as follows: I unify in order to create, attracting mind. I seal the output of vision with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by the output of vision, my own power doubled. I unify in order to create, attracting mind. I seal the output of vision with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by the output of vision, my own power double. I like to say it 3 times to imprint it in my mind and lock it in. I unify in order to create, attracting mind. I seal the output of vision with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by the output of vision, my own power doubled. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. All right. So the ego is dealing with the intelligence of vision. Okay, the galactic intelligence of vision. And to have a vision, like the ego knows it's the ego, so it can see for miles away, and it focuses and doesn't miss, right? And so we have some of the same abilities. This is synonymous with us thinking about, vision, but the key to it is not the vision that you have. The key to it is the image of how you see yourself. So if you have a myopic vision of yourself, or you don't think, you're really that good at stuff and you can't accomplish things, then you have a lackluster view of your vision and a laid back view of your vision. And so therefore you probably won't manifest the vision. Okay. So we have to, create, we have to develop the mind, right? That's in alignment with the vision, so we can create the vision, and we call that manifesting. But the key thing that drives that motivation of it is that the vision has a purpose. A purposeless vision is a dead vision. Okay? And so what I learned is that people don't leave the vision, they leave the visionary. Because can the visionary actually manifest the vision? So that's what we want to think about. So now we're in the vibration of the ego. What are we going to create? What is your vision? You want to be thinking about this. So I love these, when these kid numbers come up, it really is like a memory jogger. It gets you thinking, yeah, what am I going to create? What type of mindset do I need to have to create that? And what would be the purpose? What's a purpose bigger than myself? And so that's how you really can start evolving, when we start looking at things holistically versus in fractals. All right. So let's read what it says about the ego, also known as the seer. It states, I am the seer, coded by the blue ego. 15 is my number. 3 gates of 5 are open in my mind. My home is the endless sky, for I am the sky born. The galaxy pulses with my luminous thoughts. By the power of vision, I slip easily through the dimensions and foretell the coming of the shifting times. Through parallel universes. I fly on a single Zavuya track. Vision is the source of my intelligence that sustains the planetary whole. All who seek to know mind and create according to the universal plan, come to me, and they shall see within my mind is the power of universal mind in its endless creativity. To know me is to know the astral plane of all embracing infinity from which higher mind is derived. That's a nice passage on the seer, which is the ego. And these archetypes can give us an ideal, a template to follow. The seer can see in other dimensions. We're just talking about the imaginal realm here. And in being able to see into other dimensions, you can find out through higher mind how to deal with difficult situations very easily. It's just about following the instructions that your intuition leaves you. It's not always easy to follow intuition because our intuition speaks to us oftentimes from higher states of consciousness than which we're already currently operating in. All right. So the 15 archetype out of 20 is the blue eagle. And let's look at some of the qualities. Now, there's more qualities than this. I just kind of take a few so that we can really, talk about, okay, how to use that to make us better human beings on the planet. So compassionate service, right? Compassion is always great, right? The compassionate person will show you the way. Global consciousness. We talk about galactic consciousness. So if you have galactic consciousness, you're definitely going to have global consciousness. And what about commitment? There was a saying some time ago I heard that commitment and involvement are different. Okay. And so we got to understand commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood in which you said it in has left. So usually when we get excited, we committing to a whole lot of stuff. When it ain't fun and exciting no more, we forgetting all about that commitment in many cases, unless you're a very committed person. And being committed to an ideal, being committed to our purpose is a good thing. All right, let's look at the shadow aspect. Now, what I like about this is we're talking about, how to deal with being the rescuer. And so look at the shadow aspect. Now, I love the shadow work because that helps you remove the blockages, the mental and psychological blocks, so that the energy, the infinite energy, the abundant energy can flow into your life in the form of the different material possessions and things that you want. It's a vibrational match. All right. So being the rescuer is a shadow aspect of this archetype, not being able to say no. Now, I know I've been in this position before where I wanted to say yes to everything. How many of you have? Honestly, you're so positive about how you want to be in life. You want to see everybody win, and there's nothing wrong with that. But being the rescuer can turn into a situation of enabling, right? We can enable somebody, which we're going to make them weaker instead of stronger. So what? We got to have some boundaries, right? Let's look at what it says about the shadow transformation. We have to learn how to temper our service with nourishment and rest. Okay? So a lot of times we forget about ourselves, and we put what we should in ourselves into other people. But how do you stop being a rescuer? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's a 2-letter word called no. We have to learn to say no when it doesn't fall in line with the ultimate plan that we have. We got to manage boundaries. We got to set boundaries. And here's what I like doing. We got to practice tough love, right? Tough love. So it's been said that, the father sometimes is too tough on the children, and the mother is too nurturing. So both of them are not good. There has to be a balance, right? If we nurture too much, we're going to weaken the entity or the being. If we're too hard on them, we could break their spirit if we're not careful, and it can turn into a traumatic situation. All right. It is absolutely imperative that people take responsibility for their actions. When you do stuff for people, or you constantly making it easier for other people, you're not doing them a favor. You're not preparing them for the real life experience. And so it can be difficult, right? It can be difficult. And for this type of person, you want to have a willingness as well to have other people take care of you. But you know what? It's hard oftentimes because most people that are caretakers and they are what we call rescuers, they don't think that they're worthy of it. And it's a lot of people that's like this. This is stifles growth. It definitely is a hit on confidence. I mean, people follow confident people. I teach both my boys. Well, I have a grown man and a boy, right? And I teach them, and I teach anybody, nieces, nephews, everybody, that you have to have confidence. And so it takes confidence sometimes to say, no, I'm not going to be able to do that this time. What you mean? What you mean? No, you always do it. Well, not this time. I got something to do. You're going to have to find another way and walk away. And it's going to be killing you, because let me tell you, people seek out rescuers to use and abuse them. They got an eye on, like you got a big sign on your forehead that says, "Hey, I'm a rescuer. I'm a rescuer. Come and mistreat me." And I'm not making fun of it, because I know it's a serious thing. But literally, you have people that look out to find people that want to rescue people. And let me tell you the biggest thing that people do when they look for rescuers to help you to rescue them. Watch this. They are very skilled at making you feel sorry for them. And once you feel sorry for them, then you would rather take their place. So I want you to do this. Here you go. This is how I do it, right? If you want to be a rescuer to the point of your detriment, then that means that you are volunteering to take on other people's karma. Now, you got your own karma to deal with. So every person you rescue, are you wanting to take on their karma? Well, that's what you're going to be doing. And then when you stop, the people are going to get mad at you. So you got to really make sure that you're clear on what you're committed to, and commit to your commitments. But if it's not something that you're committed to, it's not necessary for you to do. Right. And so you got to scale back. Some people find their identity in rescuing people. Now, that's different from having compassion. The compassionate person will show you the way, and they will provide tough love. They don't have to be liked by you, and they'll still show you the way, and they'll keep it moving. Right? Tough love. Right? So you got to be willing to show people the way. You got to build the confidence. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people, some people that are, they have a heart of gold, and all they want to do is help heal the world. Right. And that's not a bad thing, but you got to know when to say no, because you'll never be appreciated for that. In fact, when the person, I see this happen with children all the time. They grow up because they're over nurtured, and they blame their parents, or they blame their mom, or they blame their dad, Usually they blame the mom, especially if it's a single mom, and they turn around and say, you enabled me because you sheltered me. And so now they're out in the real world, and it's not very nurturing, is it? And so now it was cool getting nurtured because they didn't have to do nothing. People waiting on them hand and foot. You know, they didn't have to do much, and they didn't have to want for nothing. But now they got to get out here and do it on their own, and they're dealing with different types of people. You know, and some of us never grow up from that. We have to learn how to deal with the rescuer syndrome. Either you have the syndrome or you know somebody else that has a syndrome. So let me tell you, if you know someone else that has the rescuer syndrome, what you want to do is let them know, right, that they need to say no. And you start by telling them no. I want to help you, but I'm going to tell you no. Because all you're going to do is take this and try to rescue the next person, and you got to meet in the middle. Not saying don't help people, but you ain't got to rescue them. They will always keep wanting you to rescue them. Okay? And so a lot of caretakers are this way, but what happens? Let me tell you what happens. We get old and bitter. The older we get in this process, then we start to get resentful. And we start to resent the people, right, that we're rescuing them because we don't feel appreciated for what we do. And so what that is oftentimes is that we have a need to be needed. And with that need to be needed, that is the time where we go and rescue, and we want the feeling of gratitude because we helped somebody out. We went to the lengths of rescuing them, right? Ultimately, it's the need to be needed. But man, it really takes the wind out of your sail because you're not going to be able to sustain and maintain that long term. You're just not going to be able to do it. And the people you're doing it for, they're kicking their legs up and they say, all right. Or some people, you know, they need help. But here's what we got to do. We got to help people help themselves. Right? So if somebody wants help from you, all right, it's a good practice to say, okay, all right, you need my help. I'm going to help you. Right? You want me to come and help you cut the grass? Well, I'm not going to cut the whole grass. You cut half of it and I'll cut the other half. All right. So they have to do something or they'll never build the muscle and be able to take action on their own accord. And they'll be sitting up there like, well, what do I do? Well, I always had somebody doing this for me. Right. And so people, you know, you got to be careful when we're dealing with people because a lot of people are choosing to be comfortable, right? And remember, you never grow in a comfort zone, all right? So learn how to temper service with nourishment and rest. You got to take a step back, okay? And that's okay. You're doing the best that you can, right? And it's good to help, but not to your detriment, all right? All right, so let's look at some key dates that are coming up, and then we're going to take some questions. All right, so we got the new kin orientation. By the way, it's okay if you take a snapshot of this, you take a screenshot of this so that you know what's going on, because it's a really powerful thing going on that's going to help us evolve in a lot of different ways. So we have the new kin orientation. We just saw the video on that. And on this Sunday, we're going to be having a brief meditation on transforming into the new time. We're also going to have the celebration, the 52-year celebration for myself as well on Kin 239. We're going to be doing Sync Talk again on next Wednesday, which is going to be the 19th. The summer solstice is on the 20th. The 24th, we're going to have the Galactic Kin check-in, preparing to build the galactic brain. The 260 Kin online meditation is on 7/7. That's going to be on Kin 260. And then we have a day out of time celebration. That's a time where we celebrate culture and art, peace, and have kind of a festival vibe. And then we're going to have an advanced discipline workshop for the synchronistic human, those advanced people or those individuals that really want to get in the trenches. We're going to have that then. All right. All right. So let's see what we got here. Questions. Does anybody have any questions about how to deal with the rescuer's syndrome? How to deal with the rescuer syndrome? And while people are, deciding if they're going to ask questions, again, there's a fine line between helping and rescuing, or assisting and rescuing. And so, every time something happens, if you got to go be the hero to rescue it, and I'm not saying not to go out and be heroic, but it gets to a point, right, where you're neglecting your family, you're neglecting yourself, and you just can't say no. And I used to be like that too. I just wanted to help everybody. I was always a pretty positive person. I want to help everybody. And I just couldn't say no, But then one of my mentors told me, hey, I want you to practice saying no. Literally, he had me practice saying no. Say no. And I was saying no 100 times, practice saying no. I thought it was the silliest thing. But, I start telling people, no, I ain't going to be able to do that. You're going to have to do X, Y, Z. And I realized I don't owe anybody anything. Because a lot of times when we help other people, it's at the expense of something that we have to do. And think about the people who suffer when you can't do what you're supposed to do for yourself and your family. And then we want, our interests to be okay with that. Okay. So for someone who's been a rescuer for so long and they decide to stop, how do they deal with the guilt that usually sets in from saying no when they usually don't? That's a great question, because that's exactly what happens. When you have the guilty conscience, it starts to create a self-sabotage. Okay. And so absolutely, we have to see what is the real issue first. So if somebody is used to doing it, just saying no doesn't fix the problem. So we have to look at how you really see yourself. Right? How do you really see yourself as a person? And if you have low self-confidence and low self-esteem, and you need to be recognized, you need the validation from other people. Oftentimes, that's how people get it, by feeling like their self-worth is higher because they're going out and they're helping people to the point they're rescuing them from situations. Because it makes them feel valuable, right? So knowing that, the first thing that we have to do is say, does this quantify the value for me by me doing this? And you have to be able to say, well, no, to yourself. No, it doesn't quantify my value. Okay. All right. Is this going? And so I used to have a little checklist. It wasn't a live checklist, but just things I would ask myself. Is this going to slow me down? Okay. Is this going to alter what I'm doing that I'm committed to? Because now I have to divert my attention and help rescue this person or this situation. Right. And so, the bottom line is absolutely, I see some commentary in the chat. We have to set boundaries. And so before you have to say no, you have to set some boundaries about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And that was the biggest way that I did it when I used to, feel like I wanted to help everybody. Some people want to be popular like that, but you have to set boundaries and you have to say, hey, I'm not going to do these things. Okay, period. When it gets to this point, I'm going to stop. Okay. And so, I say things like, let me give you some things to say, because sometimes when you're in the moment, and when we're on here talking about it, it's easy to talk about it. Right. So I say things like, well, that's where we draw the line. Now I can get you to here, but you're going to have to get yourself to there. All right. Let me know how it turns out. Right. And so I realized that I started out, when I did this, the way I didn't feel guilty about just saying no is I helped them a little bit. And I start helping less and less more, because that's what you want to do. You help, so we had this thing in training called first time I show you how to do it by me demonstrating it. The second time we do it together. I do it with you. The third time you do it by yourself. Right? And so being able to do it that way, I didn't feel guilty. Right? Because I helped you do it. I showed you how to do it. I helped you do it. And I watched you do it yourself. So I can tell you what you did well and what you didn't do well. And now it's time to move on. What's something similar with the rescuer? You said, I'll help you do this. I remember my son, he used to say, hey, Dad, I need $200. I said, all right, when you get the first 100, let me know. And he'll go and cut grass. He'll go and hustle, do all this stuff. I got the 100. All right, here you go. Here's the 100. And then he'll go off and do what he needed to do. So I always would, help, but I wouldn't do the whole thing. Okay. And so that's a way you won't feel guilty. Now, eventually you'll say, no, listen, you're going to have to come up with that on your own. You need to experience that. Okay. You need to put that, you need to do that on your own. All right. I'll be here if it turns into an emergency situation, but you need to be able to develop the confidence that you can make it happen. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we got. All right. Tyasha Ken 60 says, how do you deal with people who verbally attack you when you say no? You're just selfish. Well, I asked the question. Now, some people, I call that disrespect. Okay. So I don't let people verbally attack me for something that I'm going to do to help. Right. But that's a good example. Those type of individuals, they seek out rescuers, because they may know they don't have a lot of confidence. So then when they don't, for lack of a better word, it's like a pimp's mentality. So they'll play on the idea that you don't have the confidence, and then they'll posture you if you don't do what they want to do. So they get you to helping them, getting you to feel obligated. And then once you pull back, they're like, how dare you pull back? You here to serve me. What's wrong with you? And so they'll try to make you feel bad, and then that could affect your mood or your spirits or whatever, right? So you have to be able to have a posture. Write that word down, posture. I said, I'm not doing it, period. And so if you have people that's verbally abusive around you, guess what? It's time to remove them from the equation. Or remove yourself from the equation. Okay? Because nobody's going to come to me and verbally abuse me and I'm helping you. Well, now I'm really not going to do it. I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not going to do it the next time. I don't care. You need to learn how to do it on your own. And so that's how you help make somebody strong. Because when we really get out here in the business world, in the spiritual world, all this kind of stuff, there's a lot of challenges out here. And if people are not equipped to handle those challenges, they're going to have a difficult time, and they're going to wish that they did something different. They're going to wish that they build those muscles so they could be successful. All right. Those are some good questions. Yep. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes you got to ease. I can see the a comment. You got to ease into saying no, because they're used to you saying yes all the time. And let me tell you something else. I do as well, and have done, and encourage people to do. Sit down and have a conversation. I love doing this. You know, I used to do things this way, but it's a new sheriff in town. Okay, I ain't doing that no more. I'm just letting you know that I ain't doing it. And something else, I love people, you know, like when people leave jobs, they give a 2-week notice or something like that, right? It's good to put people on notice, right? They're going to be mad. And I like to say, I know you're probably going to be mad about it, but I'm still not doing it. And walk away. You know, because see, after this date, I'm not doing it. Now, let me tell you something that you got to do. This is where people mess up, right? You got to say what you mean and mean what you say. So as soon as you say no and come back and do it anyway, you just ruined your credibility. And that person is going to use you and abuse you. I guarantee it. Oh, they're not going to be able to take you seriously. You know? So when we develop a no nonsense approach, let me tell you, people catch the idea, right? And you got to be willing to lose people. Okay, I'm okay with it. You know, because if you're going to sit here and use and abuse my energy and you're not even reciprocating or doing anything back, I don't care if you walk. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to wish upon a star that I can help you all the time. Okay, so it becomes, you develop a no nonsense approach because you're on a mission. You're pushing a serious agenda, especially those of you who are evolving. Okay, so there's two things you want to get good at. No, and hey, you're gonna have to wait a minute because I got to do this first. And that's another thing that you can do that will really trip people up. You got to start putting yourself first. I can do that, but I got to do this first. I'm committed to doing this. I got to do it first, and then I'll do that and see how they deal with waiting. And then if they can't wait, then you say, well, hey, listen, I may not be able to do it at all. Believe me, people will take what they can get. They need your help. Good stuff. So a lot of these things we talk about in the shadow wisdom, you know, I used to never talk about this. I just was learning how to be more and more driven. But what I realized is there were some mental and emotional blocks that would trip me up, and I couldn't explain it. When I started doing this simple shadow work and was really transparent and honest with myself, I saw a way that I can remove them energetic blockages so that abundant energy could flow, and now it could catapult me forward with that momentum, with that quantum leap to where I want to be and go. But if you are a rescuer, if you're in the shadow of this archetype as a rescuer, it's going to be hard for you to accomplish a lot, because those people are dependent. And listen, most of the time, the people who have the rescuer syndrome, they're codependent. The people who they have a codependency, they're linked up with people, children, whoever, that need your help, and you need to help them to feel that's like tied to your self-worth. And it's not, you're not helping them by doing everything for them. You're just not. All right. So you know, real good questions. Think about this stuff. It seems simple, but you'll go out tomorrow and you'll see people who say, I ain't a rescuer. And then you'll see them rescuing everybody out there and neglecting their commitments so they can go rescue people. And that's when it becomes a problem, because you're going to come up short every time. And eventually you're going to get upset, but it's nothing to get upset, or no one to get upset with but yourself. And you can change it. Sometimes it's hard, but we got to practice, you know, easing into it sometimes. We got to We got to wean it off sometimes, and that's okay. But just know you're going to do it. All right. All right. So, so definitely, we're looking forward to breaking these cycles. Yes, I see Dreamy Pisces says, thanks for this talk. We've been working hard to break this cycle of doing everything for everyone. It isn't helping like I thought. Yeah, absolutely. It helps because I'll tell you something else before we go. A lot of people think about what they would have needed in the same situation. And they say, well, if I had this kind of support, I would have been able to be this kind of person. I would have been a stronger person. I would have felt more loved or something like that. And so we immediately project that onto other people, right? And so the other people just say, oh, okay, if you're going to do everything, I ain't going to do nothing. And then when you slow down, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Okay, so this is something that we got to get out of. And we have some people with domineering personalities that prey on people. I hate to say that, prey on people that are rescuers, people pleasers, and things of that nature. And they really make you feel guilty. They're very skilled now. They're very skilled in making you feel guilty when you're not willing to sacrifice your liver and spleen to help them. Your firstborn to help them. All right. And you got to just chalk it up. You got to already know that's how some people are going to be. And you got to already say, but I'm still, is the answer is still no. Right. I'm just telling you. You got to stand your ground, you know, and that's that. Yep. Yeah. Practice saying no. Everybody put no in the chat. No. Okay. And you know, I got to the point. I just sometimes would just say no first all the time. That's how I practice. Now I ain't gonna be able to do that, man, because even sometimes when you know we're on the street and you want to help somebody that may need some funds and they say I need this, I need that, and something in your spirit says no, they're gonna have to figure it out this time. That's okay. It's okay. Not you know it's so many homeless people and my heart goes out to them. Because I can understand how that would feel. But sometimes I ain't going to be able to do it today. Period. I ain't going to be able to do it. And some days I'll be like, I actually was about to ask you for something. I'm about to ask you to give me something. Right? Because hey, we all have bad days, right? Seriously. So everybody got to work through their challenges. That's right. No. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. And then it's easier, watch this, if you start out saying no, and then you come back and say yes. So once they get used to you saying no, when you say yes, you say, yes, really? Okay. It's just like if you're somebody who's mean all the time, right? And strict. And then you say, yeah, you know, they don't like you at first for being strict, but they respect you. And then when you just say, yeah, they like really are dancing around off of that. But if you are somebody that says yes all the time, and then you start saying no, man, they look at you like something's wrong with you, like you're crazy. Right? I like this statement that the Thought Seed doctor said. Is my help actually helping? That's a great question. So we got to get away from that need to be needed, or we got to find a way to nurture and pamper ourselves so we don't have to have that need to be needed for that attention. And then you can sit back and confidently ask, is this really helping them? Is their performance increasing? Are they getting stronger or weaker? And if the answer is no, I'm dismounting. This isn't helping you. You're using my help like a drug, and I am too. Right? That's right. Playing God in people's lives. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pop off of here. Is that a question that Washington Wellness Center has? I see a bunch of question marks. So I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I answer everything before we go. But needless to say, you know, the crystal tone. Okay, hold on. I think we got another question here. The crystal moon, the crystal tone. Explain the crystal tone, you said? I'm not sure what I'm being asked, so just ask the question. Oh, what question? What question are we asking? How to deal with the rescuer syndrome? Yeah. For the tone. What about the crystal tone do you want to know? You want me to explain what the crystal tone is? No, it don't say serve, okay? It says, how do I dedicate myself to everything that lives? And that's a good question, because we will mix up dedication, right, with rescuing. It doesn't say, how do I rescue everything that lives, right? It doesn't say that. So the crystal tone in the cosmology asked the question earlier, how do I dedicate myself to all that lives? It doesn't say, how do I rescue all that lives? So dedication, so what are you dedicated to? Are you dedicated to helping them become stronger, more intelligent? Well, that means we can't rescue them all the time, you know, because it's just going to weaken them. So that's a good question, actually. That's a good question. I'm glad that you continue to answer that question. How do I dedicate myself to all that lives? It's not the same thing as how do I rescue everything and everybody. Okay, and that don't mean certain things don't need rescuing. They're helpless. And you can help them and you're helpful. That's one thing. But if we develop the syndrome, well, that becomes our modus operandi. We're setting ourselves up to fail. Okay? So sometimes we just got to say no. No helps them better than yes. All right? All right. So with that being said, those of you that are new, that are listening, you can actually email me if you want to get a free consultation for attending the session today. Now, you have to attend the session or maybe seeing the replay or something, and reach out to me at Neb Teharka at synchronistichuman.com, and I'll definitely respond and get you some insight on how to use this to help you evolve. Use it to help you make you more intelligent, more grounded, more expansive. Okay? All right. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. It's truly been a pleasure as well as a privilege being on here. And I always say, in Lakesh, I am another you. Alakin, you are another me. Hotep, Hetipu, and Namaste. And remember, and don't forget, evolution is the solution. Peace.
It's just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you. calling forth the singing sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies,